Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Greetings. You are listening to Guiding Stars Evolutionary Astrology Radio. This is Kristin Fontana, and I'm here with my friend and colleague Rose Marcus, co-pilot. Welcome back, Rose.
Hello, Kristin. Great to be on with you.
We are gathering together today in late October to discuss the transits for the end of this month and November. We are 2 days away from another eclipse, so we're going to sneak that in for a little bit. But before we do, anything you want to announce to the listeners?
No, we have just come off a fantastic conference, and I believe the recordings are still available, are they not, Kristin?
They are.
Yeah.
Yes, if you missed the conference and you are attracted to one of the lectures or more, you can access individual lectures from the conference at the jwgaea.org website. And I encourage you all to at least check them out and peruse the list. It's a lot of really deep content and soulful deliveries from very experienced astrologers. It was a wonderful weekend. We had, so much, just depth. And that always is so nurturing and nourishing for the soul. So, check it out if you've missed it.
Absolutely. And we have our whole series, our annual series from the association, which is still available. And we are just getting set up for another round.
Yes, we are. We are going to initiate soon. There'll be more information to follow, but we are going to teach the planetary pairs, looking at two planets and their relationship to one another. An example would be Mars and Venus, the relationship planets. And to be able to uncover in your own chart, how long have I been working through this relationship dynamic? And why am I attracting this partner or that partner? But you and I, Rose, are going to kick off this series with a Pluto-Mars phase. So this is our favorite topic, of course. We love Mars. We love anything linked with this pairing because Mars is the leading desire nature of your soul, and it is the thing that motivates you and inspires you, and it's that fire inside your soul that has you going after what it is that you came here to do. So Rose and I are going to look at this pairing in the birth chart, and it's the relationship between these two planets that's so important in terms of what is it that your soul has come to do? How are you going to go after it? And how can you access the courage to really, to partner with yourself in your soul's evolution, to really play that role and to understand how to do that and to follow your instinct when it is ever so present, and to remove any kind of hesitation, knowing that you're moving in the direction that your soul intended.
Absolutely. And, the Mars position is about what kind of fuel is in the tank there, and what kind of impetus your soul is, infusing you with in order to accomplish the task. Right. So yeah. Oh, we're going to have fun with that lecture.
Yeah. Currently, Rose, Mars is in the sign of Scorpio. And so everything's, I don't know about you, but I have to say in all the years of being an astrologer and 25 years or something, this eclipse period, this last month for me, and I know a lot of it's because of transits going on in my own chart, but every day I've been hearing from people, there's just been a lot of loss. and a lot of change, and more than I remember ever hearing during an eclipse, whether it's an animal or an aging parent or a breakup, or a job loss. It's just been, I mean, I honestly have to say I've been inundated by this, in particular this month, and I'm wondering if it's just me.
Well, no, I mean, I've been feeling it too. And, there's just such a dynamic going on with the Scorpio archetype. I mean, right now, we're coming up to the lunar eclipse, but we have the sun in Scorpio, we have Mercury in Scorpio, we have Mars in Scorpio, and we have Ceres moving through Scorpio as well too. And, Ceres, is a signature for loss and grief, right? So, I think that this is part of the reason that it is so very, very intense right now.
Yeah, it is. We have a full moon eclipse in Taurus. It's a blood moon, is it not?
Yeah.
So the blood moon is just because it used to be called a hunter's moon. Is that what it was?
Yeah, these are, I mean, each moon has a title, which, I'm sorry, I'm not really that, right now I can't really remember, all the names that are given to that, but this is a partial eclipse. And according to, astronomy, because it's a partial eclipse, it's not really that dynamic in the visual effect of it. But this particular astrologically is really quite dynamic. And it's quite dynamic because, first of all, eclipses are relevant to how the sun and moon are positioned with the nodal axis, how they're referencing that. And first of all, this eclipse, both the sun and the moon are in what we call new phase to the nodes. The nodes have crossed over. The eclipse that we had on the 14th of October, which was a solar eclipse, that was with the sun and moon balsamic to the south node. It was a south node imprint here. So now we have the full moon, which is picking up both the north and south, which we talk about a lot in the evolutionary astrology piece. So that's very dynamic. But the thing that makes this eclipse so punched up is the additional influences of Mercury and Mars, which are coming to a conjunction in the sign of Scorpio and opposing Jupiter, which is in Taurus and retrograde, right? So we've got that dynamic. And that is, again, what I've been saying about this eclipse is kind of like out of nothing comes something, right? Mars and Mercury together, that's a triggering, right? It is really infusing into the moment. And then opposing the Jupiter, that puts everything on the increase. Everything on the increase. And of course, the situation in Israel right now, it's very tricky. I haven't even caught up with the news, but there's been some mass murders in the States, like 2 or 3 of them in the past couple of days. It's like, it's all this eruption going on with very, very violent things, aggressive. Yeah, there's another piece to what's going on right now in the intensity dial-up. I just have to mention is the planetary body Eris, which is a planet way out there in our galaxy, is exactly, it's in the sign of Aries for all of us, and it is conjunct the North Node right now. And Eris is the angry goddess, right? Aries is the archetype of war, right? And aggression and conflict, right? So the dial up, the intensity on that dial up is unbelievable, right? Yeah.
So Jupiter expands everything it touches. And so do you have Mars opposing Jupiter? It's a little bit like, you can imagine this balloon just expanding to maximum tension. And so you can feel that emotionally if you get triggered, or if you're having trust issues with somebody, or there's a sense of betrayal in your life, or you're observing something. If you look at it on a global scale, of course, we're witnessing just the unthinkable, the unimaginable, like, the unfathomable. And I love this quote. I've just been trying so much to offset some of this energy that is so troubling. But this quote from John Lennon, he said, "Love is the answer." Now, what was your question? It's like, and I don't want to like sugarcoat this Pollyanna at this, but anger never solves anything is my point. War is useless. It doesn't solve anything. It's literally, it's so troubling in that regard. And so, when you are at war with somebody or upset because of something perhaps that has happened to you, or maybe something coming at you and you just want to react to it, it's so important right now to remember, that throwing fire at fire is just going to create more fire, even if you're tempted. And so, as you had mentioned, there are these very intense transits, especially with Mercury conjunct Mars. I mean, it's going to be so tempting to want to hurl words at somebody or something that might cause injury because maybe you're feeling injured yourself. But we also have some incredible counteracting forces at the same time that I know you've written about, Rose, in your forecast. And so let's talk about that, because we love to remind people what else is happening at the same time. So it's so important to tune into the things that are also there as a channel for release, as another option or alternative way to proceed versus, blowing the whole thing up, whatever it might be in your life. So can we share some of those too?
Well, and Scorpio, right? It is what is underground, right? It is that potent energy that is on brew, whatever it is. And when I think about this, Mercury and Mars opposing Jupiter is that which is underground, it's on a fast track, right? And Mercury and Mars are very, incisive, Scorpio itself is very targeted, right? So where I might not really, know how to figure myself out or know what to do with this energy that I'm struggling with, that I'm in conflict with, and I'm grinding on the inside about all of that. And then these transits happen. I think that they are very well targeted and on point. So what I think is that they pierce the balloon that you were talking about a moment ago, and give some kind of ability to cut to the chase, to hit the target dead on. And Mercury and Mars, opposing as well too. When you get that hit, that instant hit, finding courage is an important thing, but with these transits right now, I think that they are going to instill courage into the action, right? So I think that this is a synchronistic coming together of these three planetary energies. So where you are at one with whatever that driving force is, right? Sometimes, and that's like, when you have to say something to someone, right? And you are struggling with yourself because the truth has to come out, but you hold yourself back, right? This is the kind of transit that allows you to just go splat. And sometimes that just going splat is exactly what is necessary and what is appropriate and what does the job, right? So I think that that's it. When looking at the lunar eclipse in Taurus, we have to analyze where the Venus transit is, right? And Venus is in the sign of Virgo, and it's forming a trine to planet Uranus, right? So what it is uncovering with the Venus position here is what the missing blank is, what the the missing key, that element here, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be healed, what needs to be corrected, what needs to be improved upon. That's the Venus transit. It's still in opposition to planet Neptune, which is in the sign of Pisces and also retrograde. And so we have a little bit further to go. The 3rd of November is when Venus and Neptune are in exact opposition. So all of this added boost of energy that we're going to get for the eclipse and the days that follow are going to be unfolding, but they are meant to get us much clearer on the things that we can't see right now, that we can't figure out, that we, suffice to say that I think that all of these planetary dynamic planetary energies are putting you in the direct line of what is necessary for you to address.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's so exposing. I mean, there's going to be no question what it is that you're needing to address, because you're feeling everything to begin with, right? That's what the full moon does. It makes that it's impossible to repress it anymore. It must come forth. And I do love that Venus is trining Uranus. I love what you said, Rose, about getting clear about what needs to be corrected and fixed. That's such a Virgo thing. And trining Uranus means, something really subtle can make an electric difference. Something can happen with so much speed. If just even a change in what you're thinking about, going from I can't to I can, I won't to I will. Making that one shift in what your thoughts are telling yourself. I also feel like, too, it is essential to become your own best friend, right? Don't become your enemy. Don't beat yourself up. Don't tell yourself things that you don't want to hear or feel. I mean, that's the Virgo piece about getting out of the way of yourself, really being kind to yourself. That's through the polarity Pisces, being forgiving of yourself or being compassionate for another. I'm going to share something. Actually, this just came to me. I will keep this anonymous, but I had a client that had experienced a lot of abuse as a child, and for his whole life, felt like a victim to this abuse. And it really was this a lot of depression, a lot of brooding, a lot of self-inflicted pain over it. And when there was this really deep when the deep strides of growth happened, and he came to realize that, of course, everything happens for a reason, and there's no way that we can be free of this pain unless we learn how to have compassion and forgiveness for ourselves, for another. When we actually come to find out, why this happened, where did it start, and why was I the target of this, etc. But the one word compassion, he must have said in the hour that I spoke to him 25 times. By the end of the hour, I was feeling so much compassion for him, and even in my own life in certain situations. It was amazing how much that one word, and to me it is that one word that he was able to get a hold of, that has changed the way that he lives his life from here on out, every moment and every day. It's like, and he's not 25 anymore. He's beyond the second Saturn return, I will say. And so now it's just being grateful for everything that he has instead of everything that had happened. So I do see the Uranus trining, Venus and Virgo trining Uranus, grabbing a hold of it. Could be one word that you decide to infuse your consciousness with that has a way of healing so much of the past. And it can feel like it happens with a flip of a switch. That is Uranus. It was a beautiful thing. I was in tears for most of that hour, I will tell you. It was such an incredible thing to behold from where I was sitting, given what he had been through. And it honestly really, it just inspired me. It inspired me that love really does work magic. And forgiving people. It does. It has these magical qualities. And we are in between eclipses This is when the unimaginable can happen. So put the power in your hands. That's a Mercury and Scorpio.
One thing I wanted to say as well too about Taurus, Taurus is an inertia archetype, right? It's a fixed sign. And we have Jupiter retrograde right now, and we have Uranus retrograde in the sign of Taurus. And the Venus in Virgo is in a mutable sign, right? So that allows us to move out of that inertia. And the idea of attachment, attachment has to do with the past, it has to do with the way I felt all along and the way I felt about all of this. This Venus position and opposing Neptune, which is also, kind of in a fluid archetype, gets to break down the inertia piece of that so that you can start to mobilize and start to move. Again, Scorpio is the archetype of resistance and limitation, right? And you have that Mercury and Mars conjunct and, the rest of the planets that are moving forward to help you to move past that limitation, move past that resistance. Resistance is futile when it comes to the evolutionary piece, but, it is about facing truth. And the truth is, I don't want to stay here anymore. I don't want to be in this conflict anymore. I want to be healed. I want to improve, where I'm at right now with this situation, with this emotion, with this thought process. And there's great opportunity here for doing exactly that.
Yeah, you get your belly full of something and you're done.
And you're done. Yeah. We're going to go to a break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Find out about Kristin Fontana and get your free weekly astrological forecast on her website, KristinFontana.com. Read articles written by the founder of Evolutionary Astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green. Evolutionary astrology is a spiritual perspective astrology from Pluto's point of view, and what a view it is. You can even order a detailed, personalized chart that tells you about your past, present, and future. You'll also discover where and when Kristin's upcoming conferences, workshops, and appearances will be on KristinFontana.com. That's Kristin, Fontana.com.
Okay, you're stressed. You need a little R&R. Wouldn't going to a spa help? There's all kinds of spas, too. Destination spas, medical spas, day spas, even dental and mobile spas. Where do you find the right spa at the right price? Oh, no, more stress? Well, not anymore. Visit spafinders.com. At spafinders.com, you'll find everything you need to know about spas from around the world. So de-stress. Click on spafinders.com right on our homepage. Ah, I'm feeling relaxed already.
What would happen if you didn't follow the established path? Would you feel scared or proud? Could you explain that helping the people of Peru improve their own community would also have an effect on your own? Would you rather make your own way or spend a lifetime saying, what if? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps. To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or go to peacecorps.gov.
Water. In the hot summer sun, water is a natural thought, like relaxing at the beach with the waves lapping at your feet, or perhaps being with your significant other under a secluded, gently cascading waterfall. If you want a little more action, how about water skiing or boating on an icy, clear blue lake? With Expedia.com, everything you need for travel, flights, hotels, cruises, vacation packages, they have it all at a price you can afford. Go to HealthyLife.net's advertiser page and click on Expedia.com.
I'm William Shatner, and this is Jimmy. Animals like Jimmy are often left behind by people fleeing hurricanes, fires, floods, and earthquakes. These abandoned animals cannot survive on their own. If you must evacuate your home, please never leave an animal behind. If you absolutely cannot take your animal with you, never leave him helplessly chained or caged. Many animals die because they cannot escape fires or rising waters. Animals need your help. Thank you.
Call PETA today, 757-622-PETA.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
So we are back, and I know we're focusing a lot on this eclipse, and maybe by the time you're listening to this recording, it will have already happened. But we want to remind you, as Rose always does, and I love this example of just the energy reverberates like plucking the string of an instrument. It is going to continue. You'll feel it for sure until the middle of November and likely beyond, but the energy will gradually decrease. But it's still pretty intense, just like it was coming into the month of October. Even the end of September, things really became quite active for a lot of people already. So there's a broad range within this particular eclipse window as well. And not to skip ahead too much, but Mars and Uranus will be opposing each other, I think the 12th or something of November, which feels like an eclipse again. So I see that as like an aftershock of an earthquake, after the earthquakes happened and then you have another earthquake of sorts, that what it's doing, it's just making sure that, it's just making sure that the change happens or the wake up call happens, or I don't know how you see that, Rose, but I'd love to.
Well, yeah, what I feel about this eclipse, and I've said this about this eclipse, and I've also said it about the kind of the Pisces archetype as well too, but out of nothing comes something, out of something comes everything, right? And this eclipse, just after the eclipse, on the 30th of October is a lovely, that's the exact Venus-Uranus trine. And then through the month ahead, I've just finished writing my column. I haven't put it out yet, but I believe that weekend, the 11th to the 13th, which is a new moon, is the peak of the month. And because of the additional transits that are connected to this eclipse, as you're right, as I always say, that eclipses are operative before they happen and after. This one is rolling out over the first half of November in a really dynamic way. So just in running down the transits, on the 2nd of November, Sun and Jupiter oppose. On the 3rd, we have Venus-Neptune opposition. On the 4th, we have Mercury and Ceres coming together, opposing Uranus. And it just goes on. The 11th, we have that Mars-Uranus opposition. And on the 13th, on the new moon, we have a Sun-Uranus opposition. So that's like a lot. Every time Uranus gets triggered, all the Scorpio planets are making it past Jupiter and then making it past Uranus over the course of this month. So this is going to roll out, and it's going to be like a domino, or the aftershocks that you said as well too. The potential for this eclipse is whatever that obstacle is out of the way, and it's a swift resolution. But then there's more to piece together, right? And if it is opening up, opening up the earthquake for you, then all of those aftershocks are giving you kind of more information to get you onto more solid ground as time moves forward, right? Oh, Kristin, you are muted.
Also, Saturn stations direct on November 4th, Saturday.
Yeah, that's a very, very dynamic date. Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing about that, Uranus is really going to ramp things up, and Saturn is trying to lock things down. And, this is all about the control that you want to have versus the things that you do not have control over. We're witnessing this in the war between countries for sure, but even in our own life, I always tell my kids, to control what you can and surrender to the rest. There's just some things we cannot control. And it's important to to really be, really focusing on the things that you can affect and direct, which are your choices, how you spend your time, what you're choosing to think about. Everything that happens within this period is setting up the next 6 months, how you react or respond, how you make the inner adjustment that you need to. And so again, really making sure that within the time that you have, how you're taking care of yourself, the conversations that you're choosing to initiate. Just all of it matters right now more than you can imagine. And it's influencing how things will move forward in your life.
And evolution is simultaneous, and Scorpio is a simultaneous archetype as well, too. I was going to say this earlier with the war, happening in Israel. It's like, I think this is what I feel is like this aftershock of, the aggression, and then looking at what has occurred. I think it gives pause for everyone, even those who feel that they're totally justified by these acts of aggression and so on. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, here I am, right? I think that in terms of all this Scorpio energy that we're dealing with this month is, as the transits are dynamic and delivering whatever they are, this is about you synchronizing with that information. It's like you can't know everything until you experience it. It is the experiential track that's going to set up the next thought or the next action or the next step you can take. So you start here, do the best you can with this present information that you have right here, right now, but it's not complete. Every action is going to give you a little bit more information. Every thought is going to give you a little bit more information. That's part of the piece, that's part of the whole, right?
Really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so important because there's so much you might be anticipating, right? But you don't really know for sure. So like you said, all you can do is work with that information that you have in this moment. And, because the nature of eclipses is they usher in the element of surprise, right?
Right.
And so we can't predict what's going to happen in our own lives even. No astrologer can predict what is going to happen during an eclipse for someone, because the eclipse prides itself on surprising you, in an Uranian way. And so we are really steeped in a lot of this Uranian energy beyond the eclipse through these transits. So I know we need to move to a break again. Yes. We'll be right back with more.
Find out about Kristin Fontana and get your free weekly astrological forecast on her website, KristinFontana.com. Read articles written by the founder of Evolutionary Astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green. Evolutionary astrology is a spiritual perspective astrology from Pluto's point of view, and what a view it is. You can even order a detailed personalized chart that tells you about your past, present, and future. You'll also discover where and when Kristin's upcoming conferences, workshops, and appearances will be on KristinFontana.com. That's KRISTIN Fontana.com.
Have you ever wondered why you are here on this planet and what the point to all of this is? Evolutionary astrology is a natural science that allows for an understanding of the evolutionary journey of the soul from life to life. Evolutionary astrology provides a vehicle to understand prior life dynamics that have led to the reason and purpose for the life you live. It offers a depth of information and insights about each person that no other type of astrology can provide. As Jeffrey Wolf Green, the founder of Evolutionary Astrology, says,
for those who wish to unveil the depth of who you actually are, I would highly recommend that you seek out qualified evolutionary astrologers such as Kristin Fontana and other graduated students of the School of Evolutionary Astrology. For those who are considering becoming an astrologer to make it a natural career, I'd recommend that you consider Jeffrey Wolf Green's School of Evolutionary Astrology, where it will assist you in answering and your clients answering a big question. Why am I here? Thanks for listening, and God bless.
Okay, you're stressed. You need a little R&R. Wouldn't going to a spa help? There's all kinds of spas, too. Destination spas, medical spas, day spas, even dental and mobile spas. Where do you find the right spa at the right price? Oh, no, more stress? Well, not anymore. Visit spafinders.com. At spafinders.com, you'll find everything you need to know about spas from around the world. So de-stress. Click on spafinders.com right on our homepage. I'm feeling relaxed already.
Whether you're taking a short trip or traveling across the world, Magellans.com is the world's most trusted source for travel, and they guarantee 100% satisfaction. They have everything you need to make travel just a bit more pleasurable. Who doesn't like that? They have travel alarms, clothing, the best luggage, wallets, everything you need except the ticket. Visit the advertiser page on healthylife.net and click on Magellans now. You will not only see their travel products, but get a free catalog and read articles with tips on how to make your travel easier. Visit the advertiser page and click on Magellans now.
HealthyLife.net, where positive overcomes negative.
All right, we are back. Rose, you had another thought on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this up as well, too. The eclipse takes place at 5 degrees of Taurus, right? So again, eclipses are quite effective for you if it aligns with something in your chart, especially with personal planets. Then you're going to feel the full effect of an eclipse in your life. But what I wanted to point out was that 5 degrees has been repeating this year. And it repeated, the first time that 5 degrees showed up was in the spring. We had a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Taurus, and it went direct in the middle of May. I think it was May 14 at 5 degrees Taurus, right? And Jupiter in the sign of Taurus is retrograde from September to December 31st, crossing the exact same degrees that Mercury retrograde in May did. And on the 31st of December, Jupiter will turn direct at 5 degrees of Taurus. So this eclipse, again, when it picks up the degrees again here, so we've got something, work in progress. What have you been dealing with this year? What have you been struggling with, or what has that, inner dialogue with yourself been? What kind of evaluation process have you been going through? What's evolving for you in the nature of your relationships, self to self primarily, it's all of that kind of working through. So, we're still in the throes of this big, long opus.
Oh, wow. That was incredible information right there. Jupiter stations direct on the last day of 2023, 5 Taurus. So wouldn't you say that, it may take until January, like the jury is still out on some of this, and it may take till January for you to be really on your way with something again, or maybe even healed with something or by something.
Yeah, it takes time to transition, to confront, to move through it, and to come out the other side with it, right? So recognize, and if you are planning something, if you are looking to make some really dynamic change for yourself, give yourself that length of time.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Jupiter's about the truth. It's about, what is this experience teaching me? What am I supposed to be learning from this experience? Because the eclipse can just really make you feel so full of emotion around something. And when we're really emotional, we're not always thinking in a way where we can understand why something is happening in the way that it is. And once things settle down and things calm, and the river's calm and the water's calm, that river emotion that can be so turbulent during an eclipse, we can see things clearly. We can have the insights really so right in front of us. And it allows us to have that compass and that understanding of why it's happening, or what is really what did that teach me? Probably since May, Rose, when you talked about the first pass of that Mercury retrograde. I mean, that's going to be a powerful little turn come January of 2024. I think a lot of people are going to get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Taurus, the Taurus Scorpio archetype is a survival axis, right? Can I survive this? And what's in my best interests, and so forth. It's interesting because, again, when we're talking about the nodal axis, which, is relevant to an eclipse, we're looking at Mars and Venus, and their activities. And it's interesting to note that Mars and the South Node, which is currently traveling through the sign of Libra, went new phase at the end of September. And it is at the end of November that Venus and the South Node in the sign of Libra will go new phase themselves. So, Mars is the embodiment of desires and its instincts and impulses, and it's the whole experiential track with Mars relative to that nodal axis in a new dynamic. The whole experiential track is downloading something fresh, right? The Venus is still sorting it out, evaluating it, trying to figure out, relative to the Libra archetype, how do I interface with the world around me? How do I, that's about the relationships that I have, what are my projected expectations? Where is that imbalance? Where do I feel enmeshed with somebody else? It's all that kind of dynamic that's coming into play. And, where do I need to create a degree of separation between me and it, or me and them, right? It's all of that dynamic that is currently at a very intensified, working it out experiential track for this entire month.
Yeah, I just had my eye on something too. I wanted to share, the day after Saturn stations direct, or 2 days, Monday, November 6th, Venus, which rules Venus, which rules all this Taurus energy, where the eclipse is, where Jupiter is, where Uranus is, all in Taurus. We also have the South Node in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So, Venus in Virgo will trine Pluto on Monday, November 6th. And this is important because, this is one of these examples of finding your way to the same page as somebody, learning to talk about the tough stuff, really joining forces together, working together for a common goal or cause. And I see this as a way to find more peace and harmony in your relationships, or to get really paid what you're worth, or to be able to ask for what you're worth and to walk away if not. So I like that. It's a disseminating trine, we call it, which carries the Sagittarian feel. It's faith driven. It allows you hopefully to believe in yourself, to believe in your worth, to trust in what you've got going within you and what you can offer another. So, and not to attach to an outcome, but to attach only to the truth of what is best for all. So what do you think about that transit?
Well, also on that day, Mercury is in a disseminating trine to Neptune, which is about potential, right? And having vision, being, visionary, being able to look ahead and to see what is ultimately worthwhile. So I absolutely love the 6th. That gets us over the hump. When Saturn ends a retrograde cycle and is stationing and turning direct, it's slow in its motion, right? So it may be a little bit of a holdup before Saturn changes direction. Of course, with the dynamic Mercury series opposition Uranus, maybe not so, but by the 6th, things are working out. And, what I said about Venus will move into Libra on the 8th, but I think that by the time Venus is just at the end of its transit through Virgo, it is very productive, very advancing in terms of being able to figure it out, or being able to eliminate what no longer serves, and to be able to really take a look at things in a more honest way, and to be able to put yourself to work on whatever it is that is necessary.
Yeah, I love that. I love that over the hump, and then and then it gets exciting again. But we all need a reprieve. We all need to when you're climbing and ascending the mountain, we all need to take a break. Take a few breaths and appreciate the view, appreciate the climb and how far you've come. It's another day for that, to really remember these things and to observe, how far you've come, how far you've traveled, and also what is it that you need to now do in order to support your own evolution. So much of this comes down to what you value and your own personal worth and what you bring to any space or any setting, any workplace. It's so important to empower yourself with that transit and recruit higher forces if need be.
Absolutely. We'll go to a break.
Find out about Kristin Fontana and get your free weekly astrological forecast on her website, KristinFontana.com. Read articles written by the founder of Evolutionary Astrology, Jeffrey Wolf Green. Evolutionary astrology is a spiritual perspective astrology from Pluto's point of view, and what a view it is. You can even order a detailed personalized chart that tells you about your past, present, and future. You'll also discover where and when Kristin's upcoming conferences, workshops, and appearances will be on KristinFontana.com. That's KRISTIN Fontana.com.
If you're like the 8 out of 10 women that say finding jeans that fit is a problem, well, your problem is solved. Lee Jeans has done extensive research, and they have jeans that fit. There's even an online Lee Fit Finder so you can find the right fit for you. Imagine jeans that instantly slim you with a custom fit and no gap waistband. And guys, kids, Lee has jeans for you too. Click through to Lee's Jeans on the HealthyLife.net advertiser page and get what fits.
Take one step towards spirit. Spirit will take 1,000 steps toward you. Come explore the world of evolutionary astrology with Rose Marcus. Rose Marcus is well known for her heartfelt passion, sensitive counseling skills, and dedication to helping others. You can now study evolutionary astrology from the comfort of your own home through live teleconference classes with Rose. To register for the next Evolutionary Astrology School, to read your in-depth monthly horoscope, or to book a private astrology with Rose Marcus, please visit her website, www.rosemarcus.com.
Oh, man, it never fails. My suitcase just got ripped apart.
Life is a journey. Make it a pleasant one. Use Samsonite. You know the name. For almost a century, Samsonite luggage has proved itself to be the worldwide leader in innovative travel solutions. Let it be yours. Visit HealthyLife.net's affiliate Samsonite on our homepage and click to look at the fine luggage from suitcases to golf travel bags. And don't forget, take a look at their travel accessories. Make life a journey, a pleasant one, with Samsonite.
In college, I took a lot of history and liberal arts classes, and frankly, I don't remember much of any of it. But as an adult, I find myself engrossed in fascinating programs on the A&E and History Channel. They've pretty much helped me to be pretty impressive at social functions, and I just found out today that I can purchase DVDs of my favorite A&E and History Channel programs right through HealthyLife.net. You should visit HealthyLife.net and order your favorite A&E and History Channel program DVDs as well, and then discover how many people you can impress during your next social occasion.
HealthyLife.net, the positive radio network.
Okay, so we have 8 minutes to talk about 2 weeks. So go.
Well, I think that there is some again, anytime that Uranus is in the mix, we're accelerating. Anytime we have an eclipse, we're accelerating, right? So I do feel that there's a bit of grinding to get through to begin with here, but Venus in Libra is good for the connectivity and for getting on same page rapport. It helps to connect with people and to share with people. It's better for cooperative and so on. So that's starting on the 8th. And Mercury moves into Sagittarius on the 9th. So I think we're going to feel those two planets close together. I think we'll feel that switch where things might even out a little bit better with those transits. What do you say about that?
Oh, yeah. Of course, anytime that you're shifting from one archetype to another, it's dramatic. I mean, I always love the shift from Scorpio to Sagittarius. It just, it's
from the dark into the light.
I mean, even if you're not a Sag, I think people feel it. Because the hope returns, right? I mean, when everything's in Scorpio, it's just, am I dying? That's what it can feel like. Am I dying? Is the planet dying? It's that kind of, energy where we can go so deep, so fast, and it can feel so dark when you're witnessing things that, you just can hardly look at or hear about. But, it's a big shift. And of course, with Venus entering Libra as well, it is Venus in Virgo, we can focus on what's broken to such a degree that you're forgetting what's working. And when Venus is in Libra, we can feel the beauty of living in life. We can feel the joy. We can feel the love. We can access it more readily. And so those are really important shifts for all of us. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us growing. That's what keeps us loving and keeps us learning. All of these energies are doing that for us, or allowing us to make that shift. And so, yes, I'm looking forward to that very much.
Yeah, so I think that's good. And even just an attitude of like, I gotta fix this, moving to like, well, maybe I will take a breath here. Right. And the archetypes of Aries and Libra, the nodal axis being in that, is exactly good for doing that. I'm going to push through, and that's all the Scorpio. I'm going to grind away. And then, and then the Libra end of pulling back a little bit. And I'm telling you, I really feel the difference between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And, like, oh, everything's so dark. Oh, no problem. That's how that works, But just after that, we have that weekend, what I call the peak, the 11th to the 13th. We have a new moon, on the 13th, in Scorpio. And, we have Mars, Uranus, and Sun, Uranus, connected to that new moon. So that can be, really a big shift and, a break, I would hope, being able to turn that off and turn this on. I would hope that would, take place. Of course, it is time for the U.S. Thanksgiving, and I think a lot of people are going to be turning on to the holidays and so on, which are going to be pretty poignant this year for many. I think that will be that kind of switch track here, and it's really hard to kind of think about abundance when other people are suffering. But we try to find our way as best we can. As we move through the end of the month, the Sagittarius month starts on the 22nd. The 23rd is the USA Thanksgiving, and there's a Sun-Saturn square on that date, so it might be a bit of a pullback on the holidays. But I think that being present as best you can for the people that are in your life, the best you can do is to stand fully present for yourself and for those who are in your immediate world, and that will serve the larger, greater as well too.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a perspective changer, and and just in terms of coming into the holidays, I'm hoping that as hard as things feel to be in the world, that it allows us, like you said, to be more present, to be not thinking about anything else but who's standing right in front of you. And, it does bring that increased value to a space, to be grateful for the moment instead of anything material or anything outside of that moment. I think would be the most meaningful way to spend the holidays. I think that's maybe what's all this Scorpio energy is about. Stripping it away, stripping away. What is important? What's valuable? What's meaningful? Right? Mm-hmm. And there's an awful lot of things when we get into, the holiday rush and all the retail and all the being bombarded with things and all of the way that this season happens. And when we strip it right down, what's important? Exactly. What is temporary and what is eternal? These are the questions you ask yourself, and you make choices accordingly. What is eternal can also be linked with whatever you're energizing that supports your growth, that supports your connection with another. I mean, these are the things that become priceless. These are the things that offer ultimate meaning versus earthly meaning or temporary meaning. So the real shift in terms of how to spend your time, how to spend your resources becomes dramatically different. when the world, is on edge as it is right now.
Absolutely.
We never know. We just never know, I guess, is what I also want to say, right? We never know how long we're going to be here, how long this connection will last. And it's important that we look back and we can say we gave it everything we had in the purest way possible with the highest intent in mind. That's the best we can give ourselves and to give another.
Amen. Yeah. And just one other thing I might mention as we close here is that Mercury does enter Sagittarius on the 9th, and it will finish in the sign of Sagittarius in the middle of December. I don't have the date in front of me right this moment, but well, I think it's actually the beginning of December. But next month we have retrograde, and so Mercury will turn retrograde in the middle of December in the sign of Capricorn, but it's going to back into Sagittarius. So it isn't gone for long, right? So pay attention to what is on the increase for you this month, and you may find that you are still navigating your way through it, through the month of January as well, too.
December and January?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the retrograde, right.
Because of the retrograde, right? Yeah.
Do you have those dates right now before we close? Mercury moves retrograde in Sagittarius December, is it 13th, I think?
Yeah. And, I think it turns direct on the 1st of January.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it revisits. Okay. I've got the dates here. So it is, December 12, 13, depending on your time zone, to January 1st that Mercury is retrograde. It will exit Sagittarius on December 1st. It will revisit Sagittarius starting December 22nd, 23rd, and return on the 13th of January to Capricorn, right? So Mercury retrograde going back into Sag. I haven't looked at Christmas yet, but that's actually, Sagittarius is good for celebrating and so forth. So hopefully there'll be some lightening up for the end of the year, but do pay attention to what it is that is on the increase for you this month.
I will just wrap this with a bow and say that it's so nice that January will be 2 weeks with Mercury and Sagittarius, right?
Yes.
Lighten the entry, and wow, for Mercury to be stationing direct on January 1st, that's it.
Yeah. All right. We've come to our time.
Yes. Thank you, Rose, so much for joining me or for just continuing on this journey together. It's just always a light in my life, and hopefully we've shined a light for all of you and supported you in some way. We look forward to gathering again at the end of November. Until next time, namaste.